Who's ready to talk about retail? This is a topic with a lot of mixed feelings in our industry. I would say love, hate, but probably there's a little bit more hate involved. So we're going to try to address that today on the Salon Scoop podcast. In this S.O.S. Roundtable Discussion, we have three industry leaders with us with a ton of experience and success around retail. We're going to share different ideas, common retail myths, and best practices today. So whether you're a salon owner, a stylist, or esthetician, an educator, or maybe a distributor sales consultant, I'm convinced you're going to get a ton of value out of this episode. And if you know somebody in the industry that you feel could benefit from this conversation around retail, please share this podcast with them. It can only help to raise more awareness around this important topic. I'm really grateful and honored to have these three women with me today. Let's start by introducing our panel for today's discussion. Could you each take a moment to introduce yourselves to our audience? Jen, you want to start us off?
Sure. Hi, I'm Jen Masters. I come from Ontario, Canada. I have been a salon owner for almost 5 years, and my salon's Salon 11 Hair Company in Trenton. I love retail, and I'm excited to be here with the three of you. So let's get the party started.
Nice.
Awesome.
I'm Pattie Kobe, and I own a State of Mind Salon and Day Spa in Crown Point, Indiana, about 40 minutes outside of Chicago. What happens in our lobby and with our retail has played just a huge impact in our company for the last 23 years, not only for our success for myself and my husband, but also for our shareholders.
Awesome. Well, I'm so happy to be here with these smart ladies and with you, Scott. I definitely have a love relationship, love everything there is to do with retail. I'm Kristi Valenzuela. I'm a salon success coach and co-owner of Summit Salon Business Center. And I was thinking before this podcast, I have since 1999 now. You know, some people might not have been born yet, but I have had the opportunity to be in the salon industry as a coach, specializing in front desk systems, as well as everything to do with retail, and from team synergy to front desk scripts to leadership, building promotions and things like that. So that's my kind of background.
Well, I could not be happier to have the three of you with me today. I think it's going to be a great sort of complementary experiences to be able to discuss. So let's just start by addressing why our industry tends to struggle so much with selling retail. Like when you look at models of very successful salons that are making very healthy profits, we find the benchmark that typically the retail sales represent about 20% of their total sales in their business. But for some reason, the average salon in the industry, retail sales are only about 5 to 8% of their total sales. And we've all heard a laundry list of reasons why salons, aren't selling much retail, but I want to hear from each of you the top reasons that you hear from either staff or people in classes, over the years that holds them back from talking about retail products. And we'll see if our listeners can relate to at least some of the initial challenges. Jen, do you want to start us off?
Oh, I have a laundry list for sure. So the top three, I guess you could say, is I don't think they can afford it. They can buy it online. And I forgot.
I forgot.
I forgot to talk to them about it.
Fair enough. Pattie, what about you? What do you hear?
Yeah, I'm just like Jen. I hear the same laundry list. And as a matter of fact, we have a list that we kind of cross out because I'm like, what else you got? And then they'll give me something. I'm like, oh, what else you got? Like keep running down the list. What else you got? So for us, it's they can big box it. It's they forget. And the most common thing is they don't want to feel salesy. They don't want to feel like they're pushing products. They're there to offer services, not push products to people to take home.
So I, as a coach, I get to hear from a different angle, right? So my audience is salon owners as well as the service providers and front desk. And, what I hear from salon owners is my people just won't sell. So it's, it's that common thing when you're pointing in one direction, 3 fingers are pointing back to you. But listen, it's their reality, right? So it feels like an excuse, but it's the reality. So my people just don't sell retail. Then when we get to the service provider level, it's my clients are taking pictures, they're buying it somewhere else. I'm so frustrated. And when you come to the front desk, it's like, hey, I want to help them, but they're not telling me what they used. So I can't close the sale when the guest comes up. So, those are the top challenges that I hear depending on who I'm talking to.
Nice. Awesome. Well, and Pattie, I like what you mentioned, how you have a list and you sort of cross them off. So let's try to accomplish that on a couple of these, at least here, so we can sort of cross off some of these objections and how to deal with them. So let's start with the one, that was common across the board of, my client can't afford it, or I don't want to feel salesy, right? As a stylist or sort of service provider, that sort of reason or excuse. How do you address that from each of your perspectives to try to overcome that obstacle?
Sure. You want me to go first?
Go ahead.
Okay. So I'm still behind the chair part-time. I'm still behind the chair 3 shifts a week. And so the easiest way for me to address it is you get the non-buyer's bus doesn't park in front of your station. Like if you give a guest to me and I'm seeing them more than 9 times out of 10, they're going to take something with them, if not take 3 things. If that same person sees you and you're saying that you don't want to be salesy, then you're not going to be recommending and they're not going to be taking it home. So again, the bus with people that don't have the money doesn't park in front of your station. So we can knock that excuse off. The second thing is we have scripts in place and we have best practices and we have a culture that if everybody just kind of follows the same flow, it just magically happens. I have massage therapists that are retailing $1,000 to $1,200 a month in oils and product and body care. So if they can do it, I'm pretty sure a stylist with everything that we have to offer can sell what they need to make their hair look like they need to look at home when they're not in the salon. So removing those obstacles, our best practice is must-haves. And I love this for you. Like, I love this for you because, I love this for you because, and I love this for you because. We just keep saying that. And the second thing that that helps us is we just ask them not to buy the Redken and Pureology on Amazon.
Fair enough. Well, we're going to come to that one actually in a second about the online and big box. But maybe Kristi and then Jen quickly. When it comes to the, I don't want to feel salesy, my clients can't afford it. How do you tend to address those obstacles?
Well, first you have to think about, why are people saying that? I don't want to feel salesy. And the truth is that a lot of times salon owners, service providers, and front desk don't want to feel salesy because they've never had sales training. So they're just relying on the lack of training and somebody telling you you've got to sell the stuff. So, what happens is, I don't want to feel salesy. With that being said, what are the steps to get over that? Well, first of all, Pattie has a sales mindset. I've known Pattie for a really long time, and she has always owned a store and a salon. And that has always been her mindset. And if there's one thing I think the listeners, I would just really love any salon owner and manager to think about that's hearing my voice right now, is to understand and believe you own a store and a salon. You just maybe never believed that before. When you consider that, you start showing up thinking about inventory, thinking about marketing, thinking about training your team, thinking about how to make it easy, thinking about how to engage your guest. It's not about sales. It's really just about showcasing your store. So how do we get over being salesy? We have to start with a sales mindset of, don't sell, just tell, which is what Pattie just said as well.
Love it. Jen, anything additional that you do in your salon company?
Well, for me, it's always starting from the back room and not so much from the client's perspective, because as the owner, I have to motivate them. So if they're not sellers, then I have to motivate them in other ways. So I put on a lot of competitions. There's a lot of retail competitions that happen in my salon, but those things are based on also knowledge. So knowing every brand that we have, like Kristi said, bringing in, the power of the knowledge behind each product. Really, once you know the product, it's not selling, it's just telling. You just love it. You're just telling. And my thing is them using. So my staff, I really focus more on my staff than I do on the clients selling, or the staff selling to the clients. I'm focused more on me working with the staff to get the staff learning the product, also using it. So I reach out to these companies all the time for free samples and things like that to get them into my salon for my staff to use. And sometimes those, Kristi once said to me many years ago that no is a beautiful word. So if you ask your beauty supply company for free products, most likely you're going to get free products. But if they say no, then at least you asked. And then you go, here you go, staff, take these home and try them. And then once they are hooked, it's really no like struggle for you, because now the staff have tried, used, and they're just going to talk about it anyways. So the sale happens through the conversation.
Totally. Love it. Love these insights. I want to tackle the other key obstacle that each of you mentioned, is either, the client is taking a picture of the product because they want to go and buy it online, or they're going to buy it at a big box store. It's a big one that we constantly hear over and over again. So how do you address that obstacle with your team? Pattie, you started mentioning that you kind of asked the clients. Do you want to follow up on that?
Yeah, we just scripted it out. We just, when we have somebody that says, oh, I'm gonna, look at Ulta, or I'm going to look at the big box, we just ask them to save their Redken and Pureology purchases for us. We also have an amazing loyalty program. The rewards, we offer incentives. So if they purchase one product, they get a certain amount of rewards. If they purchase 2 products, we double that. So we're constantly staying engaged and relevant in the market where people are points users. Unless I'm flying first class, I'm not a point user. I'm just not a point person. But I realized a long time ago that there are a lot of buyers in this world that live off of points. And so I had to get about it, because I was resistant to it for a long time. And once I realized, okay, this is a thing and this really works, then it really changed the game for us. So we have good scripts, and then we have good follow-up, and our front guests and our team is engaged. We're constantly looking at their phones saying, how many points do you have? How can I help you shop a little smarter? We're engaged with helping them save money, which in turn, they end up buying more products and receiving services that they've never had.
Love it. Kristi, how do you address the big box and online obstacle?
Well, you know me, I have to go down to the root first. So it's like, and this is my favorite topic when I'm teaching Retail Revolution, and that comes up in the classroom, no matter if you have 10 or 200 people. And
absolutely,
it's the big box stores or Amazon, and one of the things that drives people crazy is that the guest actually taking pictures when they're using that, and then they say to go buy it somewhere else. And then I basically just ask the audience, like, well, how does that make you feel? Oh, it makes me frustrated. It makes me mad. It makes me sad. It's all the feelings, right? None of them are good. So basically, what I ask at that point is, do you think that your clients are taking pictures and buying it somewhere else to hurt your feelings? Do you think they're doing it to hurt your feelings? And they're like, well, no. Well, do you think that they're buying it somewhere else to hurt your business? Well, no. But are they doing both of those things? Yes. And both of these ladies have probably heard me say before, people aren't wrong if they don't know. They just don't know. the truth of the matter is people are acting that way and buying it somewhere else truly because they don't know you care. So I love what you said, Patty, which was we just tell them to buy it here. You know, Amazon is a great place, but we would appreciate your business at our salon. And I don't know why salons don't do that, to put up signs or to script their team, but it's brilliant. Just ask for their business, double it up with loyalty points like what Patty was talking about. You know, Jen was talking about layering in contests for the team, games for the clients, and you have to do all those things and all of the time. You can't do it in January and June and think you're going to have rock star sales like these ladies do all year long, right? So it's again getting to the root of the behavior.
Love it. Jen, anything to add when it comes to the big box and online challenge?
Sure. I agree with both of them. They were totally right about what they said, but I'll just add something very small is having stock. So like they both, you know, I know Patty has a big franchise and I'm kind of a little guy, right? So coming from being in an educator standpoint, I go out to salons and sometimes the stock isn't there. So you can't expect your clients to buy from you if you say, oh, sorry, we don't have that. So my thing is making sure that's plentiful and ready for somebody to put their hand out and grab it and put it right on the shelf or put it right on, you know, the front desk and buy it. So I think it comes from all those things leading up to having it ready and available, because we know that those big boxes are going to have it there 1-day delivery or less. So.
Love it. Great insights again, ladies. Thank you for that. And I think it's so important. I love sometimes the opposite answers. And Kristi, I like how you ask the questions and get people to realize, well, no, they're not doing it purposely to, you know, to hurt my feelings or to hurt our business. And sometimes when asking questions, people realize that what they're thinking in their head is not congruent with reality, right? And I think sometimes that's important. The fact that people are, you know, taking pictures of products and, you know, looking to buy them at big box stores and, you know, online shows that people are buying these beauty products, these professional beauty products. And because many times people say, oh, you know, my clients just don't buy products, or, you know, there's a whole bunch of people out there that, you know, are buying drugstore products, and that's never going to change. But the reality is that every single, you know, person who's coming into your hair salon is using some kind of product in their hair, right? Shampoo, conditioner, styling product, and they're buying it somewhere. So if we can at least start with those facts that go to the roots, now it's a matter of, okay, how do we, you know, maximize the experience that we have with them in our salon company and the time that we're with them, and as their beauty experts, that we make it part of their experience, that we talk to them about the products that we're using in their hair during their visit. And it's that much more likely that if we've been explaining the products that we're using throughout the whole visit to achieve this look, that it makes sense for them to walk home with that product at the end of their visit, rather than, you know, going to some big box store, or worse, going to some drugstore, you know, for drugstore brands where they don't even know what the products do. So anyhow, that's one thing. I love the questions. Let's come back a little bit. Kristi, I know that you ask a lot of questions, and I want to talk about language. I've heard a couple of you mention already, you know, using the word tell, right, instead of sell, right? We're just talking about the products. Kristi, how can the language and words that salon staff use help to really make a difference?
Well, you know, I think one of the things that I've loved, I think Joyce Meyer actually coined this on one of her books, but it's change your words, change your life. And, you know, that's true in so many different areas of our life, right? And it also goes back to training. So not only what to say, but when to say it. So I love it when people come in and let's say we're checking them in at the front desk. We would ask them to take a look around. Like, well, I'll let your service provider know you're here. Go ahead and take a look around. Or pointing out, just so you know, we have this special or promotion going on. So small little words to know how to transition customer service and sales together. So it is seamless and it's luxury language, just little things like, have you seen, or just so you know, or has anyone told you about? That takes the salesy out of it and turns it more into a conversation. And then we can invite our guests to look around, and they don't really know that we're selling to them. But make no mistake, we're selling. Like, we're actually choosing our words to create a sale now or later. So if it feels like sales, that's not a bad thing. You're doing your job, but we want it to come across as a perfect blend of customer care and sales, so that they don't feel sold to. And then, I loved what Pattie was saying with, this is what I love for you. This is what I know you'll love. Like, putting the love fest in your language is really important as well. So just conversational tools is very helpful.
And we're not here to get into the 5 love languages, but I do like having love and language as part of it works well. And I love that what you said, that, change your words, change your life. I think that's so true. And, scripting is obviously extremely important and something that works. It's proven to work. So maybe Jen and Pattie, could you share with us any specific scripts that are used in your salon? Pattie, you shared one earlier. Maybe you have any others that are working that you can share with our listeners?
Yeah, absolutely. So just bouncing off what Kristi said and what Jen said, we run out of things all the time. As service providers, we get hooked on something we love, and we love it for 3 days, and we sell the heck out of it, and then we're out of stock. So as an owner, it's really hard to keep that flow going, because, you increase your maximum, then you reduce it, then you increase it, just based on a mood for the day, how many espressos you've had. So we do have that issue. And so one of the things that has worked really well for us, and I'd like to share, is our entire lobby is a tester. So years ago, 10 or 12 years ago, we got rid of our tester bar, which was the thing that you had to dust, that had like 7 or 8 products on it and all like in a corner. And every product in our lobby has a little tester label on it. And so every product, you can smell the neck wrap, a hair product, you can use a hairspray. So when a guest comes in and they're greeted, we don't say have a seat like Kristi has taught us. We say, feel free to browse while you're waiting to go into treatment. And so we don't want them to sit down. We don't really have a lot of chairs. I think we have 3. So we let them walk around, and they can actually pick up and spray a hairspray. They can smell a candle. They can test anything they want. And the second thing that does for us, which kind of bounces off what Jen said, was if it's out of stock, when the service provider comes up to use it, they know the tester's there, but nothing's behind it. Please pick something else, because you can't offer it to the guest. It's not in stock. So it helps everybody silently communicate what's going on out there.
Amazing. Thank you. Jen, any scripts, specific scripts that you or your team use successfully?
First off, I am stealing that idea, Pattie, because that's
Go for it. I'll send you a picture.
I'm doing that Monday. I'm putting a test sticker on every single product, because we have a lot of products, but like you said, we're dusting that shelf and doing whatever. So now we're just doing that. And I'm like you, I have 2 chairs people can sit in when they walk in. Most of them are browsing, because also going off of what you said, I have 4 product lines available or more. So if something isn't in one, it's usually in the other. So that's what you said. If you're out of it, you can kind of cycle back and go, oh, I have heat protectant in this one.
Right. Right, exactly.
I really like this one. So my thing is I always say to the girl, I try to say to them, just talk about what you have in your hair today. That's my script, is really script what you use, because a lot of the times they're saying, I really like your hair, as soon as they sit down. Well, in order to create this hair, it takes XYZ. So I can't create your look unless I use XYZ. So that's really this, I try to allow them to use their own verbiage, I guess you could say, but this is the guidance of, they're going to say they like your hair, because most people are coming to you because they like your hair, or they are attracted to you in some way, like they like the hair you do. So when they say, I can't do this at home, well, they're basically just giving you an in. I can't do this at home. Well, I couldn't do this to you either unless I had XYZ. So, I mean, I'm not a magician. I'm good at what I do, but I need, all these bottles of product to give you the perfect beach wave and the best blowout and the shine, right? So, I think it's just a little bit of those. I think it's relating to their brain a little bit in a sense like, could you do your hair at home without XYZ? Oh no. Well, how do you think your clients are going to be able to? So that's my little script, I guess you could say.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. And again, the reality is that in too many cases at salon levels, the stylist is, doing this amazing work, creating a great look, but they're having a conversation about their cat or about their, sister's party, and they're not actually talking about what they're doing to the hair right now. And if we could just change that so that they're explaining, what products they're currently using to create this look and how they're using it and give some tips, all of that is going to just lead to, implanting it in the customer's mind that, oh my gosh, like I need to have this product in order to be able to do this myself, tomorrow and the next day and next week.
And if you don't mind, Scott, I say something about that, is that they are asking, but sometimes the stylists are just too caught up in talking about their cat that they didn't hear the client say, what are you using in my hair today? And then they're like, oh, I just used this. Anyways. And then, it's just about listening, really. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but.
Oh, you're totally right. And it's so important that we listen, actively, when we're with the clients, because the opportunities are sitting right there for us.
But then
totally,
our front desk team is keenly aware of what's going on. And when they see that guest come to the lobby, they jump right in and say, oh, she recommended this. Do you want to take it home? So it's a partnership, so we've trained that team to be aware of what's going on and help. And not always is it intentional to talk about your cat, or sometimes you're just thinking, I have to get to my next guest. I'm running out of time. I'm running behind. I can't get it all done in the next 8 minutes. And so they can, they don't intentionally drop the ball, but if the front desk team is paying attention, they're going to pick it up and say, oh, I saw she was using this on you. Can I price check it? And that's another script that we have hands down gone to. We quit saying, would you like to take it home? We just set it on the desk because we have a scanner and say, here's what I use. The front desk can price check it for you, or these beautiful ladies can price check it for you. And then we just walk away if we can get it there. But if we can't get it there, the front desk team is at least round the corner saying, hey, I saw this. Do you want me to price check it for you?
Love it. Thank you for sharing. Pattie, I wanted to come back to you anyways, because you had talked earlier about loyalty programs, and I wanted to get into that a little bit because loyalty points programs are in every industry out there and obviously have a big influence on consumers. In our industry, larger companies like Sephora and Ulta, have beauty reward programs that attract consumers when we were talking about the big box earlier. And Pattie, I know you've had tremendous success using our Salon S.O.S loyalty program in your salon company. Can you just share quickly what you were doing before and how this has helped you?
Well, we weren't doing any type of rewards or loyalty before. And we looked at a lot of different options. We looked at a lot of different programs. And what made sense for us was to have something that was like an app that the consumer, that our guests could keep on their phone. And that's what we have. So they earn so many points by spending so many dollars. And then there's tiers, how they spend the point. They can either earn money off their retail, or they can earn 50% off of a service they've never had before. They earn points during promotionals, like if they make their next visit, we do bonus points. So we don't put things on sale. That doesn't make sense to me. Buying something at full price and then having it sit on the shelf and then selling it, buy one, get one half off because you need to move it, is not a business model that like goes clunk here. I just don't understand that. So I would rather sell my product at the price that it's worth and offer people a value to come back and visit versus putting it on sale. So we don't really put things on sale at all anymore. and no one even asks for sale. Everybody just wants their points. I mean, they walk up with their phone in their hand, the app open, and they're like, where's my points? They're so point driven. I just had no idea that this was such a thing, because I'm not a paper carrier. I'm not going to carry stamps, and you're not going to punch card things for me. I'm just not that kind of person. So the points is a big deal. It's a real big deal.
Yeah, makes sense. And Kristi, I know that you talk a lot about retail rewards in your, retail revolution and other classes. Do you have any additional insights to share around loyalty that you speak to?
Yeah, I mean, how it comes up in my classrooms, whether I'm teaching Retail Revolution or a front desk or Minute to Win It, whatever class, it always comes up. And the reason is because sometimes salons do have systems and nobody knows about them, right? So I'll always ask, like, how many of you have a loyalty program? And I'll tell you, about 6 or 7 years ago, not very many hands go up. But now when I say, how many of you have a loyalty or a client reward program, a lot of hands go up. But then when I say, if I asked your last 10 clients that left your salon, do you have a loyalty program or a reward program? Would they know? How many out of those 10 people would know? And then all the hands shrink back. And so my point is, if you have a reward program and nobody knows about it, you don't have a reward program.
Right.
So you did some kind of major release for it back in 1977, and you haven't revisited it. So, like, can we keep it in our marketing? Can we train the front desk to ask about it? Can we keep them engaged like Jen does with her contest and things like that? It needs to be part of our DNA when we have a reward program. Now, unlike Pattie, I am a rewards person. I travel a lot for a living, and I have every point system thing that you can, because I like to sit in first class. I like room upgrades, right? So I wouldn't be able to do that unless I was on somebody's reward list, because I wouldn't pay for it. So anyway, anyway, so I guess my point I'm trying to make is, if you don't have a reward program now, you're one of the only salons that don't. And it hit a tipping point before COVID. More salons than not had reward programs. In my opinion, as a coach, you don't want to be the only one in town without a reward program, but you have to make it easy. And I love how your system, Scott, makes it easy with an app. And they're just trained to go straight to their phone. It's not clunky. It's not, nobody forgets about it. You can have, a picture of it. You can have a video of somebody using it on your website. Like, get creative, but reward programs are a must-have.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's a must-have. And the one, the biggest mistake that companies, and this not just salons, companies in other industries as well, make with the loyalty is kind of what you said, is that they have a loyalty program, but the customers are not really aware or engaged with it, and therefore it's completely useless. So I think that's a key message that we just continually try to drive home, is just make sure that you have, however you're running your loyalty or rewards program, that you have it in such a way that the guest is going to constantly be aware of their points that they've earning, how many points they have, how close they're getting to rewards, because that's what's going to stimulate and change the behavior. So super important there. Jen, I want to sort of come back to you a little bit here. I know that you have had tremendous retail success in the 5 years that you've owned your salon. You've consistently been hitting, 20% retail to service ratios year after year. Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah,
that's a
sure.
great
Right.
achievement. Most salons, it takes them a while to sort of get there, but you've been able to do it from the get-go. Obviously, there's many things that go into that level of success, and you've shared, a lot of ideas already. If there was one thing in particular that you feel has had the greatest impact on your success, what would it be?
I know you and I talked about this when I called you, and the one thing I think is can I name like a book that on here that I read?
You can say whatever is.
Yes. So there's a book called Work the System by Sam Carpenter. It's it's honestly one of the best books that I read at the beginning of my salon journey. And what he showed was that he owned a business and it was failing, and just like a quick whatever, he rebranded everything. And what he did is he gave everybody a specific job description, and then he made a pyramid for everybody. So there was your specific job description, your general, and your basic, and everybody's general is pretty similar in a salon, and everybody's basic is sometimes a little bit off, but everybody's specific is usually different. So mine is giving everybody a specific job description, and one of those things was being, the retail guru or being the retail manager. So I giving somebody a position in my company as a retail manager allows that person to feel like they have a specific job description, which allows them to now share with the rest of the staff what they are specifically learning. So she's kind of taken on this role. She learns the product lines, and then she's there quite a bit. She works 4 days a week. So I've actually trained her from the ground up. So she came to me with no school, nothing, and now she's behind the chair working 4 days a week, and she's really great at retail. Plus, she loves watching YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all these things. So she's learning all the cool products that everybody's kind of trending. So when she finds the trending product, well, if we can get our hands on the trending product, then we bring it in. And she loves it. So that's kind of my thing to get. My point of difference is a little bit having that guru within your space that can kind of help. She even helps in the pit, we call it, which is the salon area. She can, when somebody's asking a question about a product, my stylist will go to her and say, hey, Autumn, do you know anything about this specific product? Because my client is wondering if it has this ingredient in it. And a lot of the time she knows. So, I mean, she's kind of been the catalyst of a lot of sales in a sense, because she's our guru. She's kind of the queen of retail, really. That's maybe her new name. I don't know.
The new title,
Nice.
Queen of Retail.
Yeah. I kind of like it. It's more like generation, like it's more this generation, right?
Yeah,
Retail
absolutely. And I think that's great. I mean, I've always been a believer that if you're looking for retail sales to be 20% of your overall business, it's not going to happen just by accident, right? There needs to be a constant focus. And, sometimes the salon owner has so many focuses that they can't put the energy behind it. So by designating somebody, and even I think that's great, Jen, you're in a smaller salon, but to be able to designate somebody who's just kind of looking at it, studying it, really sort of doing the trainings, like you said, checking out what are the trending products, probably producing.
I even have my
producing the tutorials
distributor send her emails.
Yeah.
Sorry,
right?
I didn't mean to cut you off, but she sends her the emails too, right? Like she sends her all the product knowledge too, not just me.
She's the first
I
one.
kind of got cut.
I cut out of the system, but hey, if you're looking after her, I think that can be great. Very cool. Thank you for sharing. Pattie, I had the same question for you as a salon owner and your success in retail. If you had to pinpoint one particular thing that's had the biggest impact on your retail success, what would that be?
No, that's hard to pinpoint to one. Can I pick two? The first one is being consistent. We have to be the leaders. We have to be the change we want to see. So we have to be the ones to show them how to, not the what to, but the how to. So being consistently in the mindset that everyone is watching what I do when I'm in the salon, on that salon floor. So constantly being in leader in action. And then, I mean, we've been a Summit salon since like 2002. So, we have bonus clubs, our team, we gather once a month, we celebrate those wins. Everybody gets a cash bonus for the bonus or for getting in the club. And then, and keeping the transparency. We post our totals of our pre-books and our retail in our break room every single day. And nobody wants to be at the bottom of that page. And whether they are consciously or unconsciously doing it, they're working towards getting off the bottom of that page. So, and that's consistent. You can't start doing something and do it for 3 or 4 days or 5 or 6 months and then quit. I mean, if you're going to go in, you have to go all in, and it has to be best practice, and you have to do it all the time. I can't ask them to do things that I'm not willing to be consistent to do. So you have to be transparent and you have to be consistent.
Love that. Great point. Thank you for sharing. And I know Jen does that as well, posting the results, each week in the back room. And I think that's a very, very, great
motivator
thing to be doing. Yeah. It's a motivator. It's a silent motivator, right? It's a silent motivator, but it is absolutely a motivator.
Nobody wants to be at the bottom.
Exactly. Kristi, I know you mentioned at the top, you talked with salon owners, you talked with service providers, you talked with front desk, in all of your coachings and trainings. Can you maybe share with us a little bit how the service provider and the front desk can be working together as a team to have more successful conversations and ultimately better results?
Absolutely. So, I know Pattie had said it's a partnership, right, between the front desk and the service provider team. And, if we start with a store mindset, and everybody understands that, then our team can start synergizing their systems from the front to the back. Jen mentioned earlier inventory. And one of the things that I hear a lot in our classes is that, sometimes I talk about it and then I go up there and the product isn't there. Like it's not in stock. And I say, that's completely preventable, right? And they're like, yeah, the salon owner needs to, stock everything and keep everything in stock. I'm like, no, I mean 100% preventable by you coming in every morning to see what's in stock before you set up your station for what you're going to use. And they're like, oh, so, like
totally.
If guts is 86, meaning it's not in stock today, don't use guts today. Like Jen said, choose another line, pick up something else for volume, right? Like inventory, that's completely preventable because, we have ebbs and flows with what people like. But so that's number one, appoint somebody, maybe it's front desk, to write what's 86. And if you were ever in the restaurant business, that 86 means that, we don't have clam chowder tonight or whatever, the ribeye with the bone in is not available today. It's gone, 86. So you would write like guts, Redken guts 86, or Redken guts out of stock, or coming in 2 days, on some kind of dry erase board or front desk board. So that's a point of communication when they come in. If we don't have that system in place, then the service provider needs to look and be accountable for making sure that they're using things from their station that's in stock. So that's number one, walk in and know between the front desk and the service provider team, what's in stock. So we know what to use today. Then I always love when the service provider can let the front desk know what was used. So write it on a love note, write it on the service ticket, pull it and put it at the front desk, like what Pattie said. But there needs to be some kind of communication, because in a lot of salons, the front desk can't see the stations to see what was being used. And if there's a lot going on, we can't expect our front desk to know what was being used at the station. There's one thing that drives service providers crazy, and that is, well, there's a lot of things, but one thing is that if the front desk starts recommending product, and it's like, I didn't even use that. Well, in my opinion, you've lost your right to complain that the front desk is offering whatever product if you didn't tell them what they needed to close the sale on, right? So don't complain if your clients don't know and they want to buy something and the front desk needs to offer something. So write it down, hand it to the front desk or pull it so the front desk can have a wonderful script that says, these are the products your service provider used on you. Which products would you like to take home today? And then you just pause and wait. The profit is in the pause, PROFIT. The profit is in the pause. So we have to stop and let them make that decision. And that's how we can work together, but we have to communicate. It's communication and it's systems. And Jen, I wrote down that book that you mentioned, Work the System. That's what this is. It's just working a system. It's a dry erase board. It's scripts. It's writing it down. It's following through. It's work the system. So
work it.
You have to let me know if you see it and you read it.
Oh,
I'm getting it tonight.
I'm already going to order it as soon as we get off. Yeah.
It's in my inbox already.
We're gonna have
my Bible. It's been my Bible.
We're gonna have to contact them for some kind of royalty because they're gonna get it.
Yeah, right.
Nice.
Anyhow, amazing. Okay, thank you for that. I want to just talk a little bit about some ideas for retail, either contests or promotions. That's always a topic that salons like to hear, like what's working for you. And I know, Pattie, you talked about you don't do discounting, but you do added value promotions. And Jen, you talked at the top about contests. So maybe could each of you share a specific sort of contest or retail promotion that tends to have good success for you?
I mean,
go ahead, Jen. Yeah.
So right now, actually, I'm running a contest. So I always feel as if it should, it comes from the top. So wherever, I'm the top, and then I got to trickle down to my staff, and then it trickles down to the client, right? So for me, I feel if I get to the staff with a contest, and it works for them, then I can move on to the client for the kind of next contest, as you could say. So right now I have a star program. As you in the back room, we have if you get I used to do retail to sale. Obviously that's the summit way. And I found that my salon guru was always winning because she was killing it in this retail to sale, right? So I decided this time to do it just by bottles of products. So you sell one, you get a star, because you got to switch it up, because then they start getting upset and then they don't care. So I was like, okay, I'm doing something different. So you sell one bottle, you get 1 star. And if they get 10 stars, then they get lunch on me. And then if they get 20 stars, then they get a $50 gift certificate for kind of my choice. Okay,
Jen, you have a rewards program.
Right, I have a rewards program for my staff. But I love it because it gets them. Some of them are a little competitive. And then I post, obviously, in the back, like you do, the numbers and everything that they're selling and things like that. And then if you talk to your distributor, usually they're giving you points as well. So you can use those points to actually get, you get a lot of free little things all year long from buying from Redken. So you have all these like cool little Redken hats or bottles and this and that, right? And all the girls want these things, right? Oh my God, you got 3 of them. Can I have 1 of them? And you're like, well, you could if you win a prize in the next retail competition. So I store them all. I get them all sorted out, and then I make little packages. And then if they sell 30 bottles, I try to give them a big prize, and I can use points for those things. Sometimes, it could be a course, it could be a tool, it could be a Redken or something prize pack, and it has bottles of products and whatever. And then if the incentive is big, then the reward is big for you, your salon, really. So and at the end, I'm doing that. I'm running this for 4 months. I ran it for 3 months right after COVID, I think, the first year. And it did so well. And my big prize was a pair of Samvia scissors. So at the end of the 3 months, they got to choose a pair of scissors. And this year, I'm giving them money. I mean, they'll still get their regular retail checks and all those things, and everything will be the same on that. And this is just a totally separate entity of creating a fun competition with your staff in the back room, that they're not just back there, talking about their cats, but they're back there going, you have 30 stars and I only have 25. I need to sell 5 more. Like it gets the back room conversation a little bit better as well, and a little bit more keeping it cohesive to the, salon space. They're walking back there, and then they all want to, in the rules, I had to get pretty intense with the rules, because I was like, every Monday, Alex will put the stars on the board. Don't worry, because they want to know how many stars they have on Monday, every Monday, because they really get really into it. So I'm giving them, I don't know if I'm going to do, I don't know how much yet, but I told them it'll be a good amount, $500+ MasterCard after 4 months that they can use right after Christmas to help pay bills, or, whatever, maybe go on a little vacation with themselves. I don't know, but
buy a lot of cat food.
Yeah, or whatever, like it's really just about
a lot of cat
reward,
a lot of cat talk,
right? Yeah.
Hilarious. That's fantastic. And again, it's about the motivation, right? You get people motivated, and everyone's going to be different. So I think one key learning that I've always had, as leader or manager, is really getting to know your team and understanding what it is that does motivate them, so that you can, offer things that are going to get the most out of them. And that's going to be different for everyone. So make sure that you're connected, stay close, talk to your team about, what gets them excited. What are they looking for? What do they need? What do they want? And see if you can factor those in.
I
Pattie,
think it's beating me.
Yeah, exactly.
They want to beat me. So I go on the board too. I love it. It's like, I'm going to beat you.
Nice.
Love it.
Yeah. So we have a couple of things that work really well for us. First of all, if paying your car payment with your retail bonus isn't enough of an incentive to do the consultation and have the follow through that is the guest experience that we create, then I don't know what you're motivated by, because I like to drive a nice vehicle. So where we spend our energy is with our front desk team. So we really develop them, and they love cash. So we have 2 different types. We have the green kind you can spend at a store, and then we have state of mind bucks. So we made little dollar bills that are our logo, and so they earn those state of mind dollars, and they can turn them in to do services, whatever services they want: massages, hydrofacials, blended services for their hair. And they love earning those dollars because it offsets their beauty budget, so they can do the really expensive things that we offer at the salon for free, because between their team discount and the bucks, it all kind of just is a zero-sum game. So they love that. And then cash. So when they close like we have some amazing skincare, and we have it built into the price. When they initiate the sale and sell this and follow through and sell the product, they get $5. And so they can really make their hourly pay increase just by staying engaged in what the guest is talking about in the lobby, just by having conversation and basically having coffee. So I motivate my team because they can pay their car payment. I motivate my front desk support staff by letting them have services and giving them just handfuls of cash.
Amazing. Wonderful suggestions. Again, everything is going to be a little bit different, but it's good to understand what gets people going. Front desk, different than service providers, and start playing around with some ideas. We're wrapping up here towards the end of our episode. I want to finish with one last question for each of you, and maybe just take 30 seconds if you could have one piece of advice to give other salon owners to help them deal with, any negativity or struggles that they're having around retail, what would you tell them, to them directly here? Let's start with you, Kristi.
Well, oh, that's such a loaded question to pick one thing inside of a topic that needs 1,000 things to focus.
Well, we have three impressive people, so you can pick one thing each, and that'll be 3 messages.
Oh gosh, I would just encourage salon owners to change their mindset and to believe that you own a store. And when somebody says, what do you owners say? I own a salon. It's on Main Street on the corner of, First and Main, and come see us sometime. But what I ask them to do now is to say, I own a salon, a salon and a store. I own a salon and a store, and actually hear yourself say that over and over again. When you start believing that, your hiring will change, your training will change, your promotions will change, your sales planning will change. Everything will change if you can change your mindset into a store mindset.
Thank you. Jen?
Well, I might give away one of Kristi's that she was gonna say, because I met Kristi, I don't know, 8, 9, maybe 10 years ago now. And the one thing that I've always kept in my brain since the moment I met her was, she said, no is a beautiful word. So teaching your staff that hearing no is okay. And if you're not asking, you can't get the answer. So if no is no, then that's okay. And that's what I would say is my push to my staff is, it's okay if they say no. At least you offered, at least you told them, at least you were doing your job as a professional hairstylist.
And something that I would add to that is that no does not mean never.
Right.
Yeah.
So it might be no today, but that doesn't mean that you never ask them again for the rest of the time that they're a client in your salon. It just means that, today it didn't make sense. They didn't need it. Whatever the situation was, but don't let that stop you from doing, your responsibility as the beauty expert, as the beauty professional, at delivering a full customer or a client experience. Part of that is explaining the products, telling them what they use, and then, offering it to them at the end so that they can maintain the wonderful look that they've had today. So
no, and then they say, no, not today. Okay, maybe next time.
Yeah.
Super. Sure. Pattie?
Yeah. So my hot tip for the day would be, come into an agreement with your team. In my coaching sessions, will say, can we try this for 2 weeks? Can you just work with me and try this new strategy for 2 weeks? And let's just see what happens. I dare you to prove me wrong. Just try it and see if you can fail at it. If I hear it every time, that's what I want to hear. So if you can come into an agreement and you can say, I know this is out of your comfort zone, and I know this feels weird, but if you can just try it with every guest for 2 weeks, can we just see if we can't move the needle? And once you come into an agreement and they agree and you agree, then that conversation opens, and then you can check in and say, how's it going? How's it working? What can we do different? What can we say different? So it's really just about building confidence and just giving it a 10-day trial.
Love it. I'm going to add my piece of advice here as well, because in the majority of cases, the salon owner is still a service provider, right, with clients of their own. And I believe that you have to lead by example, and you can never be asking your team to be doing something that you're not doing yourself. So never forget that, and get these habits going yourself. Make sure that you are being, consistent, that you're doing all the things that you're preaching, you're practicing what you're preaching. It'll be so much easier for you to then have conversations, because otherwise you'll have zero credibility when talking to your team. So never forget that people are always going to be looking at you as the example, right? So there's my piece of advice. I'm unbelievable amounts of insights and advice and tips and strategies on this episode. Thank you all so much for participating. I hope that everybody got a ton of value and listens to this sort of over and over again to kind of write down and come back. You're not going to be able to implement all these ideas at once, but this hopefully is a great resource that you can come back to and look to different insights that you want to try at different points during the year. And again, we highly encourage you, if you connected with this and you think of anyone in the industry that that could benefit, just share this with one other salon owner, one other salon professional, one other, educator, distributor, sales consultant, whatever the case may be. If we can help one salon at a time through this information have better success, then we're doing our jobs here. So appreciate the three of you being on the call with us today and sharing. We will have contact information in the show notes for each of these three women. We'll have information about some of Kristi's programs for Retail Revolution and other, if anyone wants information about that and some services that are available. And we hope that you share with us comments, feedback. If you have tips and strategies that are working for you in your salon, right? Or retail promotions or contests that have been particularly successful, share them with us so that we can kind of propel that out to the community and help everyone learn and grow together. That's my message for today. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to catching you on our next episode.